Hi there, Stampers. Welcome to fancyforstampin.com. I'm Josie Collar. And today we're going to make this Valentine gift. It's very simple and it's very low calorie because there's nothing here that you could possibly eat, which isn't always a good thing as far as I'm concerned, because a little bit of chocolate is always a good thing. This is a pop-up card in a box. So let me show you how this works. We have a box here and it's very beautifully decorated, if I do say so myself. And what we do is we take this piece of ribbon off that came from the Sending Love ribbon combo pack, and we lift off the lid. Watch this, watch. All right, wait for it, wait for it. Are you ready? Here we go. Poop. You see how that popped up? And then we have this cute little card that's attached to the bottom of the box. And when you open it, oops, I'm grabbing it the wrong way. The box turns. It says, "Hello, love. Happy Valentine's Day." Isn't that cute? So it's a pop-up Valentine in a box. So you don't have to put the ribbon on it if you don't want to, but I did because I just thought it needed something extra. So I'm going to show you how to make this, but I'm going to do it in two videos. First video is going to be the box, and then the second will be the card. Let's do that again. Watch. Ready? Wait for it. Ta-da! I thought of that all by myself. I think it's adorable. Okay, so let's start with the box. I'll set that to the side. For the box, we need 2 pieces of real red cardstock that measure 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 inches. We need a piece of the Sending Love DSP that measures 3 1/2 by 3 1/2 inches. A piece that measures 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 inches. We need a piece of Whisper White cardstock that measures 3 by 3. And we need a 20-inch piece of the white ribbon from the Sending Love ribbon combo pack that's in the Occasions catalog. And we need a small scrap of basic black and a scrap of this red glimmer paper. We're also going to use the Stitch Shape Framelits, the Love Notes Framelits, and the Sealed with Love photopolymer stamp set. So let's start building the box bottom. So we've got this, what did I say it measures? 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. We're going to use our score tool and we are going to score it at 1 inch on all 4 sides. Oops. Okay, so I'll move my score board out of the way, and I'll take my paper snips and I'm just going to cut a notch on each of the 4 corners. And I forgot to mention we're going to need some tear and tape, or tape and tear, whatever we call it these days. So I'm folding on all my score lines. Let me get my tear and tape that I like to cut. And it is right here. So we're going to put a little piece right along the score line on each of these tabs. Right there. And you can either tear it or cut it. I like to tear it. And like I said, I Took a little notch out because I think it helps with assembling the box a little bit better. I had to wait until my husband left before I started this video because I think this is going to be his Valentine gift this year. We don't usually spend a lot of money on each other for Valentine's Day because it is totally unnecessary. I know he loves me and I love him. And besides, we do so much for each other all throughout the year that we just tell each other that we love each other every day. And that's the way it should be. We don't need a special day to remind us that we need to tell each other that we love each other. But a little something is always nice. A small memento is always nice, but nothing big or fancy. We tried that once. We went out to a real fancy restaurant one time right after we were married, and he spent a lot of money on flowers and everything, and it just didn't feel natural. Okay, so there's our box bottom all put together. I'm going to set that to the side. Okay, for the box top, we're using the same size cardstock, 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. And there's a little trick to this. I think I showed it to you guys on one other video that I did. In order for it to fit nicely over the box bottom, we're not going to put the cardstock flush in the corner of the score tool. We're going to move it over. There's a 0 line there, and there's another line right next to the 0 between the 0 and the first 1/8 inch mark. We're going to line up our paper on that line. So it's halfway between the 0 and the 1/8 inch. And then we're going to score at the 1 inch mark. This will make it, if you would put it in there, it would be a little scored a little smaller than 1 inch. So we'll line it up halfway between those two marks and score at 1 inch on all 4 sides. Okay, so we've got that done. The next thing I'm going to do on opposite sides is I'm taking a 3/4 inch punch, and I'm just going to punch out a little notch on the box top to make it look like that when the box is put together. Okay, and then once again we need to snip and notch and add, well, let's fold on our score lines first. And we'll add tear and tape again on each of these tabs right next to the score line. Okay, and then we'll assemble the box. The box top, I should say. Okay, we've got that done. So that's the top. And you'll see it's going to fit right over the bottom of this box. If I can get it on there. So why is this a struggle now? Okay, there we go. So there's the box. Okay? Now we need to decorate this top. And I guess you could do this, decorating the top before you assemble it, but I didn't think of that, so we're going to do it this way. Okay, so now I have a piece of 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch Sending Love DSP. I chose the little hearts, and I'm going to put some snail adhesive on the back and just attach that flat. Okay, and then I have another piece. It's the other side of the hearts. It measures 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. I'm going to attach that to the top of the box, flat, with snail. Just like that. Okay, and I'm going to set that to the side. Now I'm going to take this 3 by 3 inch piece of Whisper white cardstock and the largest square from the stitched shape Framelits, and I am going to cut out a square. And if you give me a second, I will go do that and be right back. Okay, so I've got my square cut out. Now we need to do a little stamping. And since we're using photopolymer stamps, I am using my foam mat. So the first stamp we're going to use in Real Red is this, I don't know what you would call it, from the Sealed with Loves, this border stamp. And we're going to stamp that in Real Red ink at the top. Perfect. Next, we're going to use this little flower stamp. I don't know what you would call it. It's got a little heart in the middle. And we're going to stamp and stamp again. I stamped it 3 times on this one, but I don't really care for the way that looks. So I'm only going to stamp this one twice. Okay, that's all the stamping we need to do in the Real Red. Now we're going to stamp the sentiment, a teeny tiny note, right over in this area. Because that's exactly what this is. It's a teeny tiny note that's going to tell my husband how much I love him on Valentine's Day. And we're stamping this in basic black. I'm using the archival pad. So we'll stamp that right there. Oops. Perfect. Okay, now I need to cut out the 2 hearts from the Love Notes Framelits, the 2 large hearts, and an arrow. I'm cutting the hearts out of the red glimmer paper and the arrow out of the scrap of basic black. I'm going to go over to my Big Shot and do that, and I will be right back. Okay, so I've got my 2 hearts cut out and my arrow, and normally I would use my die brush. I would run my die brush over this heart, but all the hairs fell out of the one I had, and I need to get a new one. So I'm going to take a few minutes to just poke these through with my paper piercer. Now, I don't know why that happened, but all of a sudden, all of the hairs, I was using it and they started shooting out at me. So, and I had a mess, I mean. So I need to get another one, but I'm just going to run this tool through, and see, this takes a little longer. It's a little bit of a pain to do without my die brush, but I have another order ready to go in, and I'm gonna get myself another one. I know that if I called demonstrator support, they'd probably send me another one, but I think I was just a little too rough with the one I had. I mean, I was really pushing down on it, so that's probably why all of the hairs fell out. So let me get these out of here, see if I can. I know I can, it's just gonna take a minute. That's why with these little dies, those die brushes, the die brush is really nice. Really nice. See what a pain this is if you don't have one? Oh, I think I'm pulling something off that I shouldn't be pulling off, but as long as the heart is still intact. I'm ordering a die brush today. Okay. Done with that. That's the last time I'll be doing that. All right, we've got that all taken apart. I had a piece of waxy paper, the backing from this glimmer paper right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this heart down flat right about there, and I'm just going to put a little snail down because you won't be able to see it after I put the other heart on. And this heart will go on with a dimensional right there, like that. Okay, and then we'll put some dimensionals on the back of this. And we'll attach it to the top of the box. Like so. Okay, and this little black arrow I need to find, here's my glue dots. I'm going to put a little glue dot right on the back of the arrow, like that. I'm going to fold it over a little because the glue dot, that is, because otherwise it would stick out. And I'm just going to stick that in like there, like that. And a little rhinestone in the center of each of those. And the box is done. And then, of course, after the card is in it, we'll slip this piece of white ribbon underneath there and around, and we'll tie a bow right here. So, well, I hope you join me for the next video. This box also would be cute for putting a little chocolate in it if you wanted to give your sweetheart some chocolate. Or if you tune into the next video, I'll show you how to make the card that pops up. Thanks for watching.